In the last 24 hours, Binance declared war on one of the most powerful newspapers. A major US bank quietly filed a stablecoin trademark, and the Bank of England said it's ready to rewrite the rules. 3 moves, 3 different power centers, all pointing at the same question. Who actually gets to define what crypto becomes? Welcome back to Black Room Trade. In this channel, we don't call tops or bottom. What we do is read the structural signal, the legal moves, the regulatory shift, the institutional footprints, and explain what they tend to do to the environment crypto operates in. Today, we have 2 clusters that are directly about power. Who controls the story and who controls the rails? Let's get into it. So let's start with the headlines that's moving across every major outlet right now. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, has filed a defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal published a story alleging that Binance had connections to entities that helped from Iran evades US sanction. Binance says that story is false, damaging, and they want accountability in court. Now, before we go further, let me explain what defamation actually means here, because this isn't just a word fight. In legal term, this means someone published something false about you that caused real harm to your reputations or business. To win a defamation case against a major news outlet like the Wall Street Journals, Binance would have to prove not just that the story was wrong, but that the Wall Street Journal acted with what lawyer calls actual malice. That means they either knew it was false or they were reckless about whether it was true or not. That is an extremely high bar. Most defamation cases against large media organizations don't succeed, and they take years. So why is Binance doing this? Here are the few possibilities. 1. They genuinely believe the reporting was wrong and they want to clear their name in a formal, public way. 2. The lawsuit creates legal pressure on Wall Street Journals to reveal its source and internal communications, which can itself be a strategic move. 3. It sends a signal to the rest of the media that Binance is willing to fight back. Now here's where it gets more complicated. The broader crypto community is not uniformly supportive. A founder from the zero-knowledge space publicly called this a terrible decision. Why would someone in crypto say that? Because suing a press outlet, even if you have a legitimate grievance, it makes it look like the industry is trying to suppress critical reporting rather than engage with it. And for a space that has been fighting for legitimacy and transparency, that optics problem can be more damaging than the original article. So what does this usually do to the environment? Legal action of this scale tends to create prolonged uncertainty. Binance is already operating under significant regulatory scrutiny over the years. We have CZ stepping down, and there was a prior U.S. Department of Justice settlement. A high-profile lawsuit against a major press outlet keeps Binance in the news cycle, but not necessarily in a way that resolves underlying questions. It also puts pressure on the other crypto firms. How you respond to critical journalism is now a signal the market reads. Now, what does that mean for the next critical story? That question doesn't have an answer yet, but is already sitting in the room. Now, here's the part of today's story that didn't make as many headlines, but structurally, it might matter more over the medium term. While Binance was fighting for its narrative in court, 3 separate institutions were quietly moving into crypto infrastructure in ways that weren't aggressive or confrontational. They're just quietly filing paperwork and rewriting rules. Let's start with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, one of the largest US banks, has filed a trademark application for the name WFUSD. Sounds familiar? Well, analysts reading this trademark filing says the language inside is a common reference used in crypto and stablecoins. Now, for those who don't know what a stablecoin is, and why does it matter that a bank is filing this, a stablecoin is a crypto token that is pegged, usually 1-to-1, to a traditional currency, most commonly the US dollar. So one stablecoin equals to $1 in theory. They're used to move value across blockchain quickly, without the volatility of Bitcoin or Ethereum. Right now, the dominant stablecoins are issued by private crypto companies such as USDT by Tether and USDC by Circle. Now, what changes if Wells Fargo issued one? A bank issued stablecoin is fundamentally different from a crypto company issued stablecoin. Banks are regulated, insured, and have existing relationship with the Federal Reserve and the payment system. A Wells Fargo stablecoin would likely carry different trust guarantee, different regulatory backing, and would open a direct bridge between traditional banking and blockchain rails. Now that changes who can use it, how it's settled, and what institutions are willing to touch it. Now this is still a trademark filing, not a product launch, but trademark filings are signals. Think about it. You don't file a trademark unless you're actively planning something. Now at the Bank of England, Sarah Breeden, Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, said publicly this week that the Bank of England is open to revisiting its stablecoin rules. That's significant because the UK has been one of the more cautious major economies on crypto regulations. The fact that a senior central bank official is saying that we're open to revising is a posture shift. And then, Mastercard launched a new crypto partner program this week, a secured framework for crypto companies to plug to Mastercard global payment network. Taken alone, each of these is interesting. But taken together, Wells Fargo, the Bank of England, and Mastercard, all in the past 24 hours, this looked less like a coincidence, but more like an infrastructure layer being assembled quietly. They're not being loud, they're not making noises, not with press release about revolutionizing finance. They're just simply trademark, revised rules, and partner program. What this tends to do to the environment is shifting the question from will institution enter crypto to on whose term will they enter, and what happened to the player who are already there. That is a different and more complex question, and it's one the market hasn't fully priced in yet. So when you put today's 2 stories together, there's something almost poetic about the contrast. On one side, you have crypto's largest exchange and aggressive public fight, suing the most powerful newspaper outlet, making noise, taking up space in the news cycle. On the other side, you have traditional institutions, quietly filing trademarks, rewriting rulebooks, building on-ramps, no announcement, and just movements. Both of those things are real signals about where the power in this space is shifting. And I think the more important story, the one that's easier to miss, it's always the quiet one. Alright guys, that's what I have for you guys today. If you feel like I missed anything, feel free to drop a comment. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.